I absolutely recommend Sensodyne sensitivity.
United Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. Let's talk across Americans another day closer to victory. For all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
I think at here websites.com.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. And I'm just looking up the fire here. I'm watching the fire started late here. Dog out usually, so that she doesn't bother me during the show. And I was out there looking at the fire again, and a weird thing happened. So I'm not sure what it was. Little blue thing happened, almost like in the way a shooting star appears and disappears, but more like a giant LED light or something. It was like maybe a drone was dive bombing the fire. I'm not sure what was happening, but I don't know how I saw it from as far away as I am. So I don't know what it was. Maybe it was something flying really fast towards it. Anyway, so I'm looking at what, still getting used to this. Duck is not that good. I don't know. It doesn't give me 2 days ago. Like, I don't want nothing from 2 days ago. I want actual results. I think it's giving me the same article. All right, I guess they just keep updating the same one. So it looks like we're looking at 75,000 acres, and it's at 33% contained right now. They've let 100 people go. So there's only like 876 people fighting it right now. But it turns out they are fighting it day and night, all night, not 24/7. So I don't know what I saw out there. All right, so 75,000 acres. I don't even know how many more acres we have, so it's going to burn all of them, I guess. It's 91 degrees right now. It was 107, I think, today. It'll be 108 tomorrow, 109 on, or no, but it was 108 today. It'll be 109 tomorrow. But that'll be the peak, and then it'll start coming down. What else we got? The calendar. I think it's almost positive what it is, but I'm going to double check. So we're going to head over to guncalendars.com. We're trying to keep track of our history. Yeah, and it was Louis Auerbach died today. Back, this was not that long ago, 2014. And yeah, I need to update this. So what I'm going to do is screen share. Oh, what did I do? Screen share. Bring my monitor in here. Oh, I should really put a warning out there for the children. My monitor is massive, so don't freak out if you're lightheaded. If you get the emotional looking at giant monitors like this, I should have put a warning out there. Sorry. So we got the chat over here. We've got Tucson weather in the middle using DuckDuckGo, which is really not that good. And then gun calendars over here. So I was just looking at gun calendars and I saw that this post, it's kind of weak, right? It's not that good. So since I've been updating it and I update it in different ways, I'm going to head over to Instagram. And there's a much better picture that I updated or I created on the phone, but in January for the Instagram. But I'm going to put that over here. So how am I going to get this? It's actually a massive pain in the ass, right? So view page source. Oh, I should have done view frame source. What's all that about? I'm now going to try to find the image if I can. Is that it right there? No. So where is that icon showing up? I don't even know where that icon is showing up. Oh, is this an image? No. That's a whole link or something. Let's see. Background, bunch of stuff. It's pain. So I'm gonna go find it off of my phone or my. Did I do this January? I don't know because of the hard drive crash. I don't know if I have this. I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to print screen and I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to edit the event. And once it's edited, I can get rid of this picture, which ain't that good, and add media. Go to the library. Oh, I guess I should upload. Let me go here. Let's act like it's this one and we'll edit that. So now I'll just paste. This is the piece right there that I need. And I'm just going to grab this out of the print screen. Because you can do that. Boom. And it's not quite square, but it doesn't matter. Boom. And save that. There's fine. Something. Oh, you know what? I should save this as an actual thing under events, right? And then what is today? June. And I have it actually saved in a place that's useful. So now I can go find it in the place that it's useful. June 24th, look at that. All right, so now even though I didn't have the image, it was a pain in the butt to right click and save the image, I just screen captured the image, went over here as if I was gonna upload one, just grabbed any picture, edited it, used the screen capture, paste, and then edited that down, saved it, and then actually pulled up the one I just created, insert that into the post, make it centered for whatever reason, go over here, flip that over to this new one. So now the featured image is better, and I wrote better stuff. So we're going to go in here and I didn't write that much better stuff, I guess, but I wrote at least a little bit better stuff. I was interested in training with him, but I never got over there to do it. He's in Arizona, or he was in Arizona. And pretty interesting being South African Defense Force. A really interesting set of experiences. And he's old, 48, right? Well, from 1948, so lived through a different time or whatever. All right, so now when I go back to gun calendars for today, I'm going to go back to gun calendars for today, which is this one. Now we see the better picture in there. Anyway, so yeah, he was South African. Whenever they say one Special Service Battalion, South African Defense Force, did all kinds of interesting things in the bush, I guess you'd say, with ruthless fighting. And then he brought that back to here for self-defense fighting or training and I think shotgun or something like that. But interesting dude. A lot of people respect that guy's training. All right, so let's see who's showing up tonight. We got fewer and fewer people showing up, so I'm guessing nobody wants to listen to this stuff tonight. We got Guts Barbecue's been here since the beginning. Pomade's out there. And GTP. So if anybody's got any topics or what, feel free. Otherwise, I think that was most of it for today. We don't have a whole bunch of stuff in the calendar. Tomorrow is Battle of Little Bighorn. I didn't stop by there. Where was I going? I was going from Montana over to Cody, Wyoming, and I was beating a storm, and I forget how it worked out, but I basically had an amount of time to drive from the corner of Montana down to Wyoming, and I didn't know how long that was going to be, but it was a massively beautiful area of the country for sure. If I would have had more time, I think I would have definitely stopped, but I didn't, and now I'll never know. I'll have to go back up there. Bob's out there now, so I don't know if Bob's ever been to, that would be like southeast Montana. Anyway, so tomorrow will be Little Bighorn. Custer went out there to kick a bunch of people's asses and got his ass kicked. Kind of interesting. I've been doing some stuff on wars, and I've been doing some stuff on the drug war. So I think that's what we'll dig into next here. Have any luck at the patch badge to its goal? I don't think so. Last time I looked at it was earlier today. And we'll go over and look. Went to DuckDuckGo to go to Indiegogo. That's a hell of a lot of goes that I went going to. It's at $1,200. Did anybody even new join? Maybe one person. I mentioned it. You mentioned it in Yankees, right? And then I said it. Or I linked to it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what people just maybe it's they're afraid that there's going to be no tomorrow, or they hate everybody in here. They hate Gary, and they hate Rick, and they hate Knives and everything he ever did. They hate Budget and everything he's ever said or done. They hate Jimmy. Well, a lot of them don't even know Jimmy, but they hate him. They hate Clover, of course. They hate Travis. They hate Ghost. And everybody hates Night Strike. Everybody's always hated Night Strike. So, of course, no one's going to buy a Night Strike patch. And then there's just a certain amount of hate for the unknown. So I think it's just a seething, bubbling pile of hate. The only people that I'm aware that I know for a fact they don't hate are these 15 people right here. These 15 people right here are good people in the world. Everybody else in the world hates, not everything in the world. They don't hate everything, but they hate Gary and Rick and Clover and Travis and Ghost and Budget and Jimmy and Night Strike. They do love Bob. Let's see. So yeah, I mentioned it in Yankees and Rick's chat. Well, Rick, what are you gonna do? Rick's even on here, and yeah. So what were we talking about? Oh, you were asking about this, and it doesn't look like it. I am gonna stop screen sharing so that I can open up a. Is it close? It's close. So I'm gonna have to go find it. Oh, I put it over here now. So that it's easy to find. Yes. I learned a lot of stuff today. So I am waiting for emails to come back from people. That is the most shittiest position to be in my opinion, because I can't do the next steps until I get these effing emails back. And it's also turning out to be a massive pain in the ass to give that damn mare's leg to somebody because of, I don't know, lots of things. So because of that, I spent a little time today doing some research, and I'm not screen sharing, so you can hear me. Yeah. Let's see. We're going to do sort of a quiz, except it's a drug war quiz. So I don't have everything in the drug war in here yet, but I have a lot of interesting things. Let's see. Or at least I thought they were interesting things. Then they're only, what, 10, 20? No, they're $80. 10 patches for $8 each, basically, shipped. So I don't know, you can probably get patches for less than $8, but it's a pretty decent price for just a regular old patch, I think. It's not the biggest ripoff. I don't sell any patches for under $8, really. You know, as I was putting these things in here, I was like, oh, that would be an interesting quiz, and that would be an interesting quiz question. But now that I'm looking at it, I didn't like denote them or anything, so I'm just looking at a big giant list of numbers. So I'm going to try to figure out maybe some of those things I was thinking. Oh, this might not work at all. I was thinking it would be interesting, but I think it's the opposite of interesting though. All right, this is according to the internet, right? No, I guess that doesn't work either. There's no way to tell the difference. No, these are all boring, I guess. Anyway, so I guess these aren't as interesting as I thought. I'm reading a bunch of things, and that probably doesn't make for good podcasting. So I don't know what Bob means by this. There are only what, 10, 20? Well, there's 10 patches. Well, I could do it this way. Was Coca-Cola invented before or after the Civil War? Before or after the Civil War? I can highlight the right answer because we're on the Pato. Because this is El Pato. And this would be the interlude music where this would play. Like if it was Jeopardy, this is where you'd hear music. This is thrilling. Nobody's even answering. So besides the lag, everybody's not even here. Everybody left. Some people will turn this on like where grandpa's sleeping, or maybe this will get back at grandma. I'll turn this podcast on when she's sleeping and she's like too feeble to get up and turn the radio dial or turn the podcasting dial over or hit the space bar and mute it. It's mean, but yep, that's the only people listening, I guess, at this point. Barbecue is saying after. Yep, that's it. It's a little less thrilling when there's no other answers, but yep. Of course, it had cocaine in it at the beginning. Let's see. This is super thrilling. All right, now this is according to the internet. Did they figure out caffeine in? So they figured out caffeine was in stuff, right? Did they figure out it's in? Which one did they figure out it's in first? Did they figure out caffeine? No, they already figured out caffeine. So it's not when did they find caffeine. But once they found caffeine, they went looking for it. Where'd they find caffeine first? In coffee or in tea? You can look it up, I guess. It might be easy to find. I'm not sure. now we actually have 2 people who woke up from comas. Might be answering. Oh, they're just talking to each other. Was it? I think Chris bought the things, and I was going to find out from Chris if it's all right, if you don't mind, unless you're in a hurry for the magnets. I'm going to wait and send those because I'm just going to wait until Friday or whatever. That's cool. So he's saying that's tough. It is pretty tough because according to the internet, it's 6 years difference. So it's kind of a douchebag question for me to ask, but it is coffee. They figured it out from coffee first somehow. So they figured it out from coffee, and then somebody was like, "Well, I'm going to look inside a tea," and then they figured out, "Oh, this other thing inside a tea," and then somebody else was like, "Nope, that thing that you found is called caffeine, so it's also caffeine." Let's see. No, I think all the rest of these are probably not that interesting. But I think it will end up being interesting. What I'm doing is something similar. I'm trying to figure out a system here, like a way to research and find this info. All right, thanks. And then I want to see how it matches up. Think of like putting a bunch of dots on a timeline and then putting those dots on a piece of plastic, I guess, and lifting those dots off the timeline and then putting down a bunch of different dots. And then doing, pulling that transparency off of there and putting down some other dots. I think that's going to be interesting to figure out some of these things and how they lay down. Because, like, for example, gun laws. I've been looking at a lot of gun laws over the last bit of time. But I don't think I've ever laid down all the gun laws specifically with wars. Right? So, it's pretty obvious with big wars. But then there's other wars. And something like the drug war or the Indian wars, those aren't just as easy to digest. They're not 4 years long or 6 years long or 2 years long or whatever. So, well, that's the thing I'm waiting on. So I'm going to sidetrack here. Chris is asking, this is off topic, but when will the 2A patch match go live? Is that happening? So I wanted it to go live like last Monday, I think, but it's impossible. Like it just everybody's got their lives, and I don't do the patch batch and send out like a bunch of like fancy invitations with calligraphy on them and written on velvet. I tried to, but Bob won't do it. But I don't send out these invitations that say, "Hey, get ready, I'm about to do a thing." I just do it. So I just started sending out emails one day and said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing. Are you in?" And a couple of people were like, "Yeah, sure." And then one person was like, "Go fuck yourself," basically. And then everybody else just didn't. I didn't hear nothing. So some of them I really cared about, and I was like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Until they finally said, "Fine." But there's 2 that I still haven't even heard back from. And one of them is a state level organization, right? So I want a state level organization in it. And I kind of want this one. And I tell you, it's not easy to try to do stuff for 2A organizations. Let me just put it that way. You would think they got nothing else better to do than to like accept things that are graciously given to them. But it turns out they're living their lives and dealing with whatever they're dealing with instead. So yeah, it's you can't just expect just because you want to do something that everybody else wants to do stuff. So anyway, I'm dealing with that, and I figured by this week, and that's one of the reasons I've been sitting here looking at the drug war today, is I've been sitting on my hands trying not to bug people. But if I don't hear nothing, and I didn't hear nothing today. I just looked at the email before I started the show. If I didn't hear nothing today, I'm just getting it ready. So I'm going to take a hard look at it tomorrow, start figuring out when the best time to have it go is, and then it'll go. I don't know what that'll be anymore because I didn't, I kind of planned it for a week ago. So I'll have to take another quick look at where to put it, you know, so that it has enough time and paychecks and blah, 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 so that, you know, I give everybody enough time, unlike the Gun Channels one, which I guess really didn't span anybody's paychecks, right? It just kind of happened out of the middle of nowhere. You can blame Travis on that. But once I figure all that stuff out, we'll go live. So it'll probably be going live either Friday or Monday, I guess. More than likely Monday, I guess. I don't know. And then I guess it'll depend on if I hear back. If I hear back with a negative, then of course I have to start reaching out to another organization, and but I'm not going to wait on the project for that. That'll just be like a TBA, I guess. I already think I have the thing set up to be 2 slots are to be announced. So yeah, it's definitely happening, and we got everybody in it. We got the DC project. We've got Jared. We've got from Guns and Gadgets. We got Katie. We got Clover again. We got GunTube. Bunch of stuff. Yep. Yeah, Travis was like, hey, let me be in there. And I was like, oh shit, you're way too little to be in this, but you know, we can have one for you people. Figured you know, 50 slots, that's not that many. Let's see. So I don't really have any other topics, or I mean any other things to come out of here, I don't think, that are all that interesting. Well, anyway, I guess I was saying, though, that it'll be interesting, I think, once I start putting these things together to see where maybe some of these things line up. Like, you don't think about the world wars creating heroin addicts, or whatever you want to say, like opium, whatever the war is, you know, they call opium different things. But, you know, you get addicts after a war a lot of times. Well, for pretty much every war we've had them. And that must have some effect on laws and stuff. Let's see. Bring anything on the Kiss of Death Year campaign, so give you 2 a bad chance. Oh, wait, or towards the end of something jumping in. Yeah, I just don't. I don't do my campaigns so that they're sure things. I do those campaigns not to make money, right? If I wanted to make money, the patches would be witty bullshit for people who want to laugh, you know, or shit on people's stuff. Like, I can make patches that are sellable. That's not the goal. The goal is to get the live shows an opportunity to rally together with something, right? A chance to do something. I don't know, you know, like there's all kinds of things. They've done all kinds of things in the past. If you think about it, the different shows when they were getting ready to go to Tulsa, maybe getting ready to go to NRA show, going ready to go to SHOT Show, you know, they would collaborate. They'd work on different pieces of a thing, or have different kind of things. And then they each have different audiences for sure. And then there's an opportunity there to, you know, they only need 50 slots. So if they did something where the, you know, each of the people who joined on or grabbed a slot did something with like some kind of a Google form, or one of them built a thing on their website so that you could log in and say, here's who's I'm voting for. I don't know. They could have done all kinds of neat things. That was really what it was for. It's just to give them a chance to do it. But I guess everybody was too busy, or just didn't realize, or I don't know. But yeah, don't think that you're the kids of death. I just don't. I don't do them as a business plan anymore. You know, I've done too many of them. If I would do them as a business plan, I'll do it like the 2A patch. You know, that's a bigger project that I have more. I don't really have any skin in the game. It's going to cost me money more than likely, a little bit, but you know, I want to see that one succeed or whatever. I did the Gun Channels one because Travis said, hey, I want to be in it. Literally, I was just like, oh shit, I can do this because I can do this in an afternoon. Let me do this for you guys. They just didn't have a chance to do anything with it. But the 2A patch batch, I want that one to succeed whether or not they've got a chance. You know, it's an opportunity for those organizations to work together, but you can't put any obligation on, you know, the projects that are going to be working together on the big batch. Number one, it's crazy year, right? Number two, they're huge organizations that already have things to do. Even if it wasn't a crazy year, you know, they'd all be getting ready to do their different things. So it's an opportunity for them to work together, and I'm hoping that it's an opportunity for some of the channels or projects or whatever that are involved, like Riding Shotgun with Charlie, who already does interviews, you know, for him to maybe interview some of the people, you know, have a deliberate cross collaboration or something, you know, because the show or because the patch batch is going. So with that, I'll try to you know, use as much of the techniques and stuff that we've used in the past. But for the little ones, for the ones like that one, spur of the moment, even the AK one that I did earlier this year, right? I think I did an AK one this year. I would have liked that one to kick off, but of course the weirdness happened, and I had done that one actually as an opportunity to try to bring in Oktoberfest and the Kalashnikova thing in Texas. I forget what they call the one in Texas. And I wanted to do a bunch of AK patches, right? Get some bigger AK patches made again, because people have been digging the big, or a lot of people have been digging having Kalashnikov or AK themed panels. So I figured getting a cool, you know, an opportunity to get a whole bunch of Kalashnikov ones together, and at the same time get those shooting events, which I think, you know, are indicative of the future of gun shows and shooting events, some sort of weird hybrid of the two. Get those things patches, because at this point neither one of them has patches. The one in Texas said they're not interested. They didn't want to do nothing like that. And the one in October in Vegas, you know, everything, the world fell apart. So I never did get a hold back from that one. So instead of just not doing anything, I went ahead and tried that one. So I guess that one was kind of doomed to fail, but I don't care. You don't get experience by just, you know, pulling a I don't think it'll work, so I won't try. You know, if I wanted to never look bad or never have a failure, I guess that would be the way to go. I mean, I don't look for failures, but I'm willing to follow through. I had like 60% of the work done on that. So even though the events pulled out, you know, the two AK shoots pulled out, I figured I'd go ahead and run that patch batch anyway. But so it's nobody's fault for participating, for damn sure. It might feel like it. I mean, certainly I feel like it. I think I'm not batting very good odds lately. I mean, I say that, you know, I don't really have the goal in mind of succeeding all the time, or, you know, it's not my only goal in succeeding, but certainly would like to succeed once in a damn while, especially when I can't turn on an air conditioner because of an electric bill. Let's see, they were talking about Tulsa this evening on roll calls. He quirks me, so I don't listen to that chat. On roll calls chat live earlier, talking about meetups and such. Right on. Kicking lefty. You know, it's becoming, I don't know what that's all about. Oh, because you shoot left-handed or something? You know, left-handed shooters? Tell me about it. I am about to run out of Kalashnikov patches, so it would have been really nice to, you know, get a whole bunch made, and then basically what that does, I think the way I had that one set up is if I could get a whole bunch made, you know, then I can put $100 into getting some patches made and actually get some patches made instead of, you know, having to save up or put $300 worth of patches on a credit card. It's never fun, at least not for me. I don't have that kind of scratch to invest. And I don't like having to depend on the patch being so interesting that people are going to buy it, right? Crump is out there. Good evening. I don't know. I feel like the channels all had an ample opportunity to do something while they would mention it. Seemed like lackluster and in passing. Yeah, we could talk off air. I could just tell you on live. There's a couple of people who hate the idea of amateur anything, like amateur content creation, amateur Second Amendment advocacy, amateur trying to set yourself apart from the pack. Like there's people that if you try, they will just get mad. And there's a couple of people that hang out in chats. And I get the impression that these guys are going to be actively harassed if they try to suggest that they find worth in what they do, they find value in their efforts, and they would appreciate others participating in that. And at least that's what I found, is that you'll notice that the chats where people felt like, you know, they were ashamed to even bring up the fact that they were proud of their work and their channels. If you look at who was on those panels, there's some similarities, there's some consistency there to that. So it's tough, it's frustrating, and I didn't do it intentionally there, but it's sad to see that the influence of people that, you know, are anti-amateur. Well, I don't think you got to be amateur before you can be a pro. I don't think we need pros. I don't think that the Revolutionary War, for example, was done by professional soldiers, right? Red Dawn wasn't won by professional soldiers. I think amateurs actually do a lot. I think amateurs are passionate about what they do, and they're interested in what they do. I think when you become professional, you know, you can be interested in a lot more, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not here to pitch shit on professionals. That's not really the point. But there's certainly people that won't allow people to do their thing. And that's one of the reasons Gun Channels is done. But you know, like I say, it's, I think, one of the reasons you see that some people are afraid to show their enthusiasm for their own potential growth, because there's people that they for some reason invite into their chats. There's people that they'll have conversations with, but they'll know that if they bring it up, if they try to show some kind of pride in what they're doing, that those people basically shun them, bully them into, again, like just saying, oh, shucks, you know, if you want, you can sponsor me, but I know you don't have to, so you shouldn't. Which is basically a lot of the ones I saw, a bunch of the mentions of their own project, what it turned into. But again, look at the guests. You can tell from the guests when it was like that or not. It should be. You're doing pretty good with the decisions of who you're going to interview. I find those to be super valuable. Thanks for that. But if you do want to be a pro, yeah, I mean, you got to do, like you say, a lot of times you got to be amateur before pro. There are definitely people that pay to pro, right? You can just pay to go through the line and be pro. You can, you know, wait until somebody else does something right and then buy all the same gear and the same car and the same clothes or whatever, and then do what they're doing. And you can accomplish, you can get, you know, professional looking for damn sure, right? And if you're at all competent, you might be able to step right in. There's nothing spectacular about half of the stuff that anything does, right? I mean, just about anything is just knowledge and repetition. I tried to spread my $2 for 2A across a wide variety of content creators, even ones I don't particularly have an interest in. Well, that's interesting. I figure just because they aren't my flavor, they are someone else's. That's interesting. I guess it kind of depends, because I guess for me, if I don't have an interest in it, it's because it's boring. Like, so I wouldn't want to support, or I mean, shitty. Like I don't mind the boring stuff, or like you say, things that are just different. But yeah, I think I do the same. I definitely support channels on Patreon that I don't ever watch, right? That, just, like you say, they're just doing stuff that just, you know, maybe reloading or something, or hunting or something that I'm just not interested in. Yeah, I was over here working, so I was watching Matt and all them talk about garbage, and it wasn't even a good show. And I had yours open. I think I was the second thumb. But when you second thumb a show, like you put your show up, I'm talking to Crump out there, he put his show up like, I don't know, 9 hours ago. And I think whenever I thumbed it up, it said it had 9 hours left. And I type in there usually, second thumb or whatever. And then it never showed up. You might see it, but the rest of the world never saw that, what do you call it, that comment or whatever. Anyway, so I had the window open. Then I went over and started listening to Matt blab on about whatever. They weren't even doing anything. They were just general chatting, really. And so I was kind of really tuned out of it. I was just listening. I was added on to not hear the fans. And by the time I figured out what the hell was going on, I went to look at what time it was, and I noticed I had like 3 tabs, and yours was one of them. And I clicked over, and I think y'all were pretty much done. It was like an hour or something. You had said a couple of more things, but yeah, it's going back to the $2 for 2A. So I did that project or that like concept at the beginning of the craziness towards the end of last year. Well, at the end of last year, I came up with the concept, I think, or maybe at the end of SHOT Show or something like that, the concept, and then took a minute before I could figure it out and make it into a thing and then make the videos and all that. And whenever I did that, it seemed like forever. So I did a bunch of them, right? I think we subscribed to 30 or 20 something. I don't know. So if it was 10 videos or more, we set those things to go out once a week, and they just barely ended. So that seemed like, that was at least 10 weeks ago or something. So anyway, now it's time. I think I said July would have been the normal end of the 5-month or whatever calendar. So I'm going to see who wants to come in and do like I guess an after action or a review of if it was worth the $100, assuming they went. Wait, was that the challenge? No, it's $20. No, it's $20 a month for 5 months. So yeah, so if it was worth $100 to support 10 channels for $2, I mean, it's not a big investment. So to get $2 out of a month, right? They basically just have to do anything that isn't horrible, right? Like they don't have to not burn down the city or something. That's a bad example. Not have to not, just be bad. But when you're dropping $20 a month, just because each individual $2 ain't bad doesn't mean that the $20 is worth it. And that's the big thing, because especially since everything did go crazy, is that $20 going to content creation or whatever you're spending it on? Is that still valuable? Is it worth it? I mean, that $20 is a membership to something. It's for me, that's a bill. Let's see. Candy Yao. Is that a name? I never heard of that person before. I'm gonna look it up. Ultimate Extreme Huntress. So I'm guessing what it is. And I'm going to go look at images, because that's quite faster than, no, I don't think I know who this person is. So it looks like some sort of girl who is into hunting. Bunch of elk pictures here. I had to go to Harbor Freight to buy this pump today, and they make you wear masks there in Arizona now. So everybody who encounters me at Harbor Freight is basically looking at is looking at the last thing an elk would see, because I'm just wearing the same shit I would wear if I had to go elk hunting, or that I would wear if I was elk hunting in the winter, I should say, because I got this thing I would put on if I was elk hunting in the winter. I've never heard of her before. So, ladies hunting? No, that's just a thing. So I guess it's the Extreme Huntress. My name is Candy Yao from Central Oregon. I love to hunt and spend time with my family. Blah, blah, blah. Extreme hunting is what I do. So I wonder what she means by extreme hunting. I don't know what they got going on, but they've got something going on with their hair. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Screen capture. Again, if you've got small children, 9mm shooters, people with faint heart, don't let them look at this screen because it's too wide for most people. Look at here. When you zoom in, they've got something going on where I think it's just spaces. Unless it's a comma, but no, it's not a comma. There's a comma over here. Something in their text though is turning into this little weird thing. Makes it super hard to read. Look at how hard it is to read this. And spend time. It's just a space, so it makes no sense why these things are just in there. All right, so thanks for the $10. Appreciate that very much. Actually, just went and bought. It's not raining right now, so according to this, I've got till maybe Saturday before it rains. So I went out and bought like way too much roof patch stuff crap. So I have to go up there tomorrow and lay down some basically plastic, right? Like some tar crap, and then into all the cuts, and then let that cook for a day or so, and then jump up there the next day and paint over it in white. And that's so basically wipe $50 all around the roof, and then go back up there and wipe $100 all over the roof. Is it more than that? Maybe a little bit more than that. It depends on how much of the white I have to wipe on the roof. And then hopefully all that'll dry before it starts to rain. Or if I really luck out, it won't rain at all and it'll just bake up there. And then whenever it rains again, I'll kind of have a roof. Right? What's all this about? Ghost, I enjoyed the podcast you did on the Fud Life channel about the best and worst calibers. He's got other people doing his channel for him, so now he's got some new channel and he has other people doing his work. Let's see how it is. I don't know why he says DC project here. I guess because of all the girls he's interviewing in the next, I don't know how long. Are you not going to interview all of them? That would be awesome. But anyway, he's interviewing all of them. He is interviewing exclusively DC project state representatives, I guess. All right, so I'm not sure what extreme hunting is, but we'll listen to the show tomorrow and we'll find that out, I guess. Let's see, I believe unconditionally in fair chase, backcountry, DIY, honest hunting. So fair chase is not catching them in a helicopter. What is fair chase hunting? Let me go find out. Fair chase hunting. Fair chase is a term used by hunters to describe an ethical approach to hunting big game. Blah, 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 as requiring big game to be free range. Oh, I see. Fair chase as opposed to like on a ranch where they just hire a bunch of elephants and then they go out and slaughter one of them once in a while. Or they get a bunch of zebras or something and put them on a place in Texas where they wouldn't normally be. Whatever. I don't have a problem with that either, but okay, so she's only into regular hunting. Backcountry, so I'm guessing that just means in the woods as opposed to hunting in a zoo or something. DIY. So DIY hunting, I never believe anybody who says they DIY hunt because I believe that would mean like building all your tools, and I don't see anybody ever do that. Honest hunting, and it's capitalized honest hunting, so I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Unless you're faking it by like gluing ice cream cones and shit onto your elks so it looks like they got extra nibs and nubs on their horns. mention this. Oh, here we go. Well, Clover was on it with Ghost. It wasn't just Ghost. Whatever. Seems like somebody started a whole other channel and now he's making other people do his work. She is on Wild TV. It is a Canadian network. You know, Bob used to be the only Canadian we allowed down here. There used to be other Canadians. Way back in the beginning of YouTube days, there was other Canadians, and we got sick of them. So we made it so that Bob was the only Canadian that ever bothered us or came down here. And then Flath, right? And Flath was just here the other day. I think he was here yesterday, and I forgot to say hey. Or I seen him somewhere, and I forgot to say hey. But Flath, we don't even think of him as a Canadian because he's so good. But yeah, now I've seen a lot more Canadian stuff happening. So I don't know what it is. Ugh, what is all this? All right. So we're about an hour in. And what's this say? Canadian. That's probably a spammer, dude. Don't even. Nobody comes in on an anonymous platform like this and then comes up with that username. So let's go over and view it on the tube, and then we'll come over here and try to. Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta flip to this, switch to this, come over here. I wonder why Crump is out there. Oh, it says new easier moderation. Hit the Alt key to pause the chat, then point to the message. Take other actions. Let us know how that works for you. So now you have to hit the Alt key. Huh? All right, let's hit the Alt key. Oh, look at that. So look at here. So now let's show everybody what you can do to troll some shit. So we're going to screen share. Again, like this little troll is going to pee themselves, right? If you got young, if you've got immature, if you've got, what's the word? Delicate viewers, don't watch this part. Boom, that's the kind of monitor I deal with over here. All right, so I am logged into the same account now, and I'm looking at the chat over here. Y'all are looking at it too. And now if I go over to this BS account or whatever, normally, right, you can remove it, you can hide the channel, but you can't go to the channel. What's up with that? Why can't you go to the channel? Why do you think, that's what I was asking from, why do you think they got it so that you can't just go to the channel? Probably to stop the weird abuse or whatever. So anyway, it says when you refresh, and I try to open this up. Oh, no, it's not going to do it. It's only going to do it the first time. Anyway, if I hold down the Alt key, look what happened. Now I get this little list of stuff. So I don't know what this is. Probably a, what do you call that thing? A sand clock or whatever the fuck that thing's called. And then this probably get rid of them. It doesn't give you a hover over. But yeah, I don't know why they don't let you, like if I wanted to go to Crump's channel back in the day, I could just click on his channel. Or maybe I had to right click, but you can't do any of that stuff anymore. So I don't know what's up with that. Right, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, that was just a whatever, weird troll. Nobody comes around with that kind of name. So that's some sort of weird I don't know what the point of that kind of trollality is. There must be some reason for it. Maybe something creepy. They use it to stare up a nostril at you, just so they get that view. They like to look up nostrils. They got rid of the go-to channel option, so people wouldn't do the sub to sub. You mean the if you sub me, I'll sub you type of thing? I guess. I figure it's more for like, somebody comes in and they're like, "Hey everybody, I shoot 9mm," and then everybody's like, "Get out of here!" And they right-click on them and they go over to the channel and they write a hateful thing and then they block them. Now people have to throw an actual link in the chat. Yeah. And the thing is, you can't even drop a link if you're not a blue wrenched, right? I'm going to switch my account. I don't like being on this account. I did flip some of my stuff. Oh. Thought I had a spider clicking on me. Yeah, you have to have a drench. All right, well, Enrique's showing up. We're about an hour in, and we keep going, or we could wrap it up. So give me some feedback. And go forward with that. That one. All right, so got that out of the way. That we talked about the fire. We harassed Candy Yo for writing her website. Teach her to write things on her website. We figured out what fair chase hunting is. We mansplained the patch batch to nobody because none of them are listening. But on the last 26 hours, we mansplained how they should have did it. I like to not tell people how they should have did it after. I like to tell them right at the last minute so that they have very little time to be able to actually do anything. But then I technically still told them while they still had time. That's the best time to tell them. But whatever. Let's see. Am I missing anything over here? No. We're going to talk about that. Yep. And yep. Just woke up. 10 p.m. I'm off of that schedule. Something happened. I got flipped, and now I'm back on a stupid regular schedule, which I don't like. Because you got to sit around here. I can't do nothing that creates heat during the day, which is annoying because it's hot. But so that means I don't have like extra computers on or nothing. But it feels bad. I get all extra angry using daytime electric because it costs more. Let's see. Not sure if you saw it, but we're up to 19 backers. Right on. Still need more than half though. Still at 33%. We'll see. Maybe each of them will. Well, the thing is, there's 10 of them, right? And you got Knives, who really didn't. He never asked for it, and I just wanted to make a Knives patch because Knives is cool, and he did a lot for gun channels, and he's probably never gonna ask anybody for a patch, so figured it'd be cool. But Knives doesn't really need to be in there. I barely heard back from Jimmy today. So I started this thing however long ago, and we barely heard back from Jimmy for the first time today. he's had some stuff going on, I guess. And those two, I guess maybe the third one. So here's another thing. 10 people are in on the first, whatever, the first 10 things were the ones that are going to pick that question mark one. I wrote those people, I think, twice now. I don't know whoever's in here that's in that first 10. How many times have I written you? I've only gotten 3 back. So out of the 10 people, they've all been like aware that they can let me know a suggestion and then they could vote on it. They've only given me like 3. So we really only have 7. So it's possible that if somebody's like, well, I don't want to buy like Gizzard's patch when I only really care about Ghost patch, or I don't want Rick's patch when I only really care about Travis's patch, or some kind of craziness like that's going on, then I guess it's possible that the individual channels could go try to do their own thing. I don't know what does it cost, like $500 to get 100 patches. It kind of depends on your middleman. You know, it'll cost me 300-ish, 350 something to get 100 patches. Kind of depends. Then you got shipping and everything else. So you know, if the middleman puts something on there, it could cost you $500. Lucky number 13, right on. But like I say, those are the lucky 10 or whatever, the first 10. Well, only 3 of the first 10 have any inches, but anything back. Number 11, I will beat that. Beat what? Oh, yeah, well, right on. Then maybe John will do it. So maybe John can figure out how to get you guys patches cheaper. $150 for 100. Holy shit, dude. Should go into the patch business. People are paying a lot more than that. Oh, I guess if I'm not, if I'm the only one in here and I'm not saying anything, then I guess nothing gets said. All right, well, so I don't like doing this kind of show. So we're done, I guess, and we will, let's see, what's today, Wednesday? We'll be back tomorrow. Clover's doing a show tomorrow. I don't think he's posted what his show's about or whatever. But looks like if you want to get patches, hook up with Crump over here. That's a third of the price that I've ever seen. Otherwise, we've got the just the one event on the calendar tomorrow, and I guess that's it. So thanks for showing up, and we'll be back to pick you up later.